The inside pushed open the front door, making him to run up expectantly. Seems brighter than it was. No, I tried every way you suggested she might get. At all the public gathering spots I could think of, but no sign of her. Yeah, she let me know that none of the police stations in the prefecture are looking for after a girl. Nothing since then. Understandably enough, do grow downcast as I speak. Okay. Sakaki and Amani might have hung back instead of rushing up to interrogate me, but it seems the news has a similar effect on them. I hear small, frustrated sighs from their direction. No, I don't think you could help out any more than I've already done at this point. Where do you even go from here? Even before the words are out of her mouth, Makina's yanking at my sleeve with impatient little jerks. No, there's nothing to apologize for. That's a natural reaction. Doesn't matter how much time I spent outside. There's no getting around the fact that I didn't find Sachi. Appreciate it. Catching the towel Amani tosses my direction, I wipe cold rainwater from my hair and shoulders. Don't really feel like it right now. Yeah, that's fair. Alright. Her argument's logical, and she delivered it with such a painfully stoic expression that I can't bring myself to be stubborn. Gazing out the front windows into the gray sky, Amani mutters to no one in particular. The rain started falling a little before dawn and hasn't let up since. If anything, the sound of water drumming against the building seems to grow louder with the passage of time. So no one made a request of her. Someone would have mentioned it by now. At least no one remembers making a request to her, so it's possible someone said something offhand, at least she didn't, and something bad happened. I don't know. I am distinctly reminded, if you've ever played the game Heavy Rain, I'm reminded of that. I'm not going to go into details about it, but yeah, I guess that sort of situation is one thing I'm afraid of. Even just from the rain by itself, even if it's not malicious. I can imagine her physically being stopped from coming back. Seems like the one thing that would really stop her, whether it's by force of another human being or some physical ailment to her body. Somebody breaks the silence, venting some new concern that's pushed its way into our mind. Someone else offers their best attempt at soothing words, and we're left listening to the rain once more. Since my return, we've repeated this pattern more times than I can count. A little after 9, Chizuru called to let me know she'd given formal notice to the police. It was nearly 4 hours since then. Since we decided to rely on the authorities, the most helpful thing for you to do is to keep calm and stay out of the way. The police are fundamentally superiors in terms of manpower and investigative skills, on top of which they have the critical advantages of socially sanctioned authority. In other words, we can let the professionals take care of the rest. I completely understand no judgment for a principal to make objectively. It's probably the wisest possible course of action, but however rational it may be, sitting around quietly like this is proving very hard to stomach. I spent longer than the standing by in the job, but it feels completely different this time. Anxiety and frustration swirling around inside seem to be growing exponentially with every hour that ticks by. It's increasingly struggle to maintain my cool.
では、17時にいつもの場所でお待ちしています。
And she had full intention of doing that. Sachi definitely said those exact words to me a few feet from where I'm sitting. Where Sakaki and Mane, and when Sakaki and Mane went into her room to investigate, they didn't find any evidence of some. She wandered off in some spur-of-the-moment journey. The girl does have a slightly whimsical side, but it's hard to imagine her taking a trip without even packing a change of clothes. And she didn't go back home if her guardians were like, yeah, don't say anything about it. Suddenly, leaping from the sofa, Michiyo breaks the silence. Her voice tinged with something close to desperation.
こんなに心配かけて。帰ってきたらみんなの部屋の掃除くらいじゃ許さないんだから。みちる。それに、サチがいなくなってもう1日になるし、きっとさっちゃんが何をしてるにしても、きっと食事くらいは取ってるわよ。本当なのよ。
Yeah, her wallet wasn't in her room apparently. She's got money to eat at the very least.
それならよかったのよさ。ただ、何かの事件に巻き込まれている場合は、その限りじゃないでしょうけど。
Yeah, it is completely possible.
ちょっとユミコ、縁起でもないこと言わないでよ。
But it's completely possible. Probably not good for the mood at the moment.
でも、その可能性がないとは言えないでしょ。
But is there a point in bringing it up when we can't do anything about it, when it changes nothing about what we're going to be doing or how we're acting?
それは。
Or hell, acting like everyone else hasn't thought the exact same thing. Even if they didn't think it early on, they would have thought it by now. Michiyo falls back into an awkward silence. Nobody's going to come on and said until now, but we've all been thinking the same sort of thing. We all know Sakaki's right. Considering Sachi's personality, it's hard to imagine she'd vanish without a word, and the completely normal condition of her room makes this even stranger. No matter how much I want to deny it, there's a very real possibility something happened to her. Possibly.
大丈夫よ。まだそうと決まったわけじゃないんだし。
Unable to fully deny that unpleasant possibility, Michiru's voice grows weak and uncertain. Michiru's right. As long as we don't hear anything from the police or Sachi herself, we cannot make any assumptions. Until then, we need to do what we can. Apparently, the others are just as fed up with waiting around as I am. The instant the words leave my mouth, they lean in towards me with intent expressions on their faces.
そうよね。そのためにも、まずは状況を整理しましょう。
Surprised we haven't done this before. Sounds about right.
じゃあ、もう一度詳しく聞かせてほしいんだけど、ユージは昨日、さっちゃんとどんなやりとりをしたの？
Yesterday morning, Sachi and I agreed to continue testing at 1 p.m. as usual. But I got called to my part-time job at the last minute, and I told Sachi we'd reschedule for 5 in the afternoon.
その時、さっちゃんはなんて言ってたの？
She said she might be a little late, asked if that'd be alright.
少し遅れるか。教室には昨日から定期的に様子を見に行ってるけど、さすがに少しって時間じゃなくなってるわよ。そうね。
After that, she just confirmed that she'd be waiting in the usual place as of around 5 p.m.
待ってるって言ったってことは、少なくとも教室に向かう意思はあるってことよね。そうなるけど。待って。
Sakaki abruptly interrupts Amane's words, her eyes flashing.
本当にいつもの場所は教室だったのかしら。
Why wouldn't it be? We've been going to the classroom regularly for the past several days. I see, that just might be it.
どういうこと？
With that one sentence, everyone, with the exception of a certain ball, instantly grasps onto what Sakaki's implying.
そう考えたら辻褄が合うかも。
But if it's a matter of usual places, didn't I check all the places she regulars? Yeah, that's definitely coherent, but...
ねえ、ちょっと自分たちだけ納得
What the?
いきなり土下座した。
Oh my goodness.
じゃあその役はスオさんに任せるわ。
オッケー。
After accepting Sakaki's request, the mildly exasperated Amani sits up straight in her chair to explain.
ほら、みちるもさっちゃんがお願いや約束を絶対に守る子だってことは知ってるでしょ。もちろんよ。だから普通に考えてさっちゃんはユージと約束した場所で待ってるはずなのよ。でも教室にはいなかったわよ。言ってみればそこがミソなのよさ。ミソ？そう、ユージにとってはいつもの場所が教室だったかもしれないけど、さっちゃんにとっていつもの場所が教室だったとは限らないじゃない？ああ、そっか。
At this point, Amani finally succeeds in shoving Michiru's train of thought down the tracks to the point everyone else passed 5 minutes ago, prompting an overblown reaction. I did explicitly tell her to wait in the classroom, so there is a possibility she went somewhere else entirely. Normally, anyone would know I was referring to the classroom, but in Sachi's case, a misunderstanding of this some kind seems disturbingly plausible.
なるほどね。で、サチにとってのいつもの場所はどこになるの？
The park? I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that child in the flashbacks with Sachi in the usual place is that park.
そこが問題ね。小峰さんが今も別の場所で待っていたとしても、その場所がわからなければ探しようがないわ。
そっか。
To be honest, I don't know what she could have thought when what I thought I meant other than the classroom.
ねえ、お兄ちゃん、サチは他に何か言ってなかったのよ。
No, nothing else about the location anyway.
じゃあ、サッチンと一緒にいたところを思い出すのよ。そこを全部回ればどこかにサッチンがいるはずなのよさ。
If my idea here is right, then that would be sort of pointless. I've been trying. Outside the school grounds, the only place that really comes to mind is the shopping district.
だとしたら、まだ見つからないのはおかしいのよさ。
Yeah. For one thing, I thoroughly combed both the shopping district proper and the commercial area around the station.
となると、話は結局振り出しか。
でも考えるべきことは分かったわ。
ほうよ、私も一生懸命頭を使って考えるのよさ。私だってそのつもりだけど、二人で行った場所ってことなら結局友人頼みになるわよね。
As if on cue, all four turned their gazes towards me. I like to ease your worries, but unless my personal echo's train of thought proves correct and Yuuji somehow puts that together, I can't imagine anything I wouldn't have already checked. Yeah, you're not wrong. I might be overlooking something here. I'm going to try to settle down and think this over as calmly as possible. We checked everywhere on the school grounds, right? The rooftop was pretty common. The different classrooms were pretty common. Different parts of the dorm were pretty common. They said they went in her room, so I'm pretty sure we probably checked everywhere. So we can probably rule those out at the very
そう
least.
ね。ずっとここでうなってるのが悪いのかもしれないし、ここは一度仕切り直した方がいいかもね。
Everyone assents to Amani's suggestion. We temporarily suspend our meeting in an attempt to break out of this rut. The girls trudge back to their respective rooms. Soon enough, I'm left alone on the lobby sofa, gazing blankly out the window. And I throw myself right back into the problem without even taking the time to stand up and stretch my legs. Usual place, is it? The usual modifier means it has to be somewhere she visits frequently. In context, it's some place that I've been with her on a regular basis. But how many times I roll those conditions through my head? The only places that fit the bill are inside the grounds of the school. It's enough to make me realize just how limited our relationship is. Sachi and I have never really been more than classmates. Our frequent interactions, the result of simple proximity inside the somewhat claustrophobic school. Not that any of that is an excuse. So, I can't even track down a single classmate without my special eyes and ears. Thank God Master's not alive to see this. She'd be in hysterics. No. If my master was here, she'd probably be angry at me before anything else. That I'm wasting my time thinking about this crap instead of the problem at hand. That's right. Think. If the general premise I'm working from is correct, there has to be something I'm missing here. This isn't the first time I've hit a wall like this. Psycho taught me what to do at times like these. The concept of coincidence was invented by vapid romanticists as a pickup line. Listen up and listen good. Things happen the way they do for a reason. When none of it makes any goddamn sense, stop bashing your head against the wall and take a step back. Let your mind go limp. Just like the proverbial bluebird of happiness, the answer's going to be sitting in a surprisingly obvious place. Surprisingly obvious, huh? Come to think of it, feels like plenty of things have happened, even inside this birdcage of a school. To be perfectly honest, at first I just had her down as a weirdly diligent girl. But after a while, I found out she had a surprisingly amusing side, and eventually I started getting genuinely interested in what made her tick. Sachi kind of resembles me. That thought might have been the biggest single reason for my uncharacteristic curiosity, but whatever the case, my little talks with her have been leaving a strong impression on me lately. Even so, there's nothing there. Nothing in those memories that stands out as an answer. God damn it! Tearing my eyes away from the downward gray sky, I glance around the lobby. I glance around the lobby and attempt to distract myself from this unproductive frustration. A bamboo broom propped up beside the entrance catches my eye. Seeing that broom sit idly by is proof enough that Sachi's not around. I've never seen it leave her side when she's puttering around the dorm.
自分が使う場所は綺麗だった方が嬉しいですから。
So she went somewhere to try to clean it because she's doing all her cleaning stuff and whatnot? Just yesterday, she made her work as a pseudo-maid sound like her life's mission. Come to think of it, the outside of the classroom, Sachi's been wearing a maid uniform constantly since the day we met. Hold on. Could I be making a really fundamental mistake in my assumptions here? For one thing, if I was wrong about something that basic, the field of possibilities grows significantly wider. When I narrow these down using conditions I've been rolling around my head all this time, all of a sudden, I've got a completely different candidate for the usual place. But if I'm right about this, there's one point in particular that seems completely inexplicable. That said, we've reached a total dead end otherwise. I have no choice but to run with it. Just as I'm rising to my feet, Michiru reappears in the lobby, probably stopping by to check up on me. Yeah, I think I might know where Sachi is. Like I said, I might have figured out the usual place Sachi was talking about. I'm going to head there to check right away. Let the others know, will you? Alright, I'm counting on you, Michiru. Without pausing to grab an umbrella or raincoat, I rush out the dorm, sent off by Michiru's earnest, if completely out of character, words of concern. Following to avoid the puddles in the pocketed asphalt road, I sprint single-mindedly away from the dorm. It feels like this is going along the lines that I was thinking earlier. On the job, it's fundamental common sense not to set up an umbrella even in the middle of a typhoon. This rain doesn't even faze me. More importantly, every second counts right now. An entire day passed since Sachi went missing, 24 hours since she left the dorm. She may have been waiting for me all this time. She may still be waiting, even now. A festering sense of frustration inside me swells to an unbearable intensity. Sachi?
これは自分でもどうしてなのかわからないのですが、風見さんに褒めてもらえると胃の上のあたりが温かくなるんです。私また風見さんの前で気を失ってしまったんですね。
She did say that part.
ご
Okay.
明察です。それに風見さんはカレーがお好きでしたよね。
Okay. That was supposed to be foreshadowing. Ironic, after all this time going around in circles, now it's like the dam broke. Just as my master said, the breakthrough was staring me in the face all along. Sachi gave me plenty of hints herself. My new hypothesis growing firmer with every step. I make my way towards the other usual place. Nothing left to do but see if she's there. Wouldn't it take quite some time to... This place hasn't changed as much as I expected. I mumbled to myself, feeling my way through the vaguely familiar streets. During a several-hour train ride from Mishima Cape, I returned to this place for the first time in many years. This is the town where I was born. In my earliest years, before my master took custody of me, I lived here with my parents and sister. Never thought I'd be coming back here, much less looking for Sachi. The only constant in my life is unpredictability. Slowing my pace, I moved carefully forward, guided only by faded memories. The usual place that came to mind when all the reasonable answers failed was the small park. My one and only childhood playground, situated on the outskirts of this town. Here we go. Is this why she thought that she'd be a little bit late? Because it would take her a while to get here? Oh boy. Something to the... Sorry, I actually didn't read that last part. It's a small playground designed to give young children a place to romp around on sunny days. So, that's all as expected. The area around the park is thoroughly deserted, and the street lights outside are dimmed to an absolute minimum. There's no way anybody would be using this playground on a miserable rainy day, evening like this one. It would be a common sense conclusion, but...
ほら、みちるもさっちゃんがお願いや約束を絶対に守る子だってことは知ってるでしょ?
Oh boy.
だから普通に考えて、さっちゃんはユージと約束した場所で待ってるはずなのよ。
I recall Mani's words from this morning. We all know what Sachi was like. We knew she was bizarrely obedient. We knew she was prone to making strange mistakes as a result of subtle misunderstandings. We all assumed this course was nothing more than a reflection of her diligent personality. We all assumed that she would never bend those rules of hers if it ever became truly necessary. She would bend those rules of hers if it ever became truly necessary. That's exactly why. Oh, I don't want her to be here. Much as I want to find Sachi, those words spill out of my mouth. Contradictory as it might seem, I really mean them. If Sachi's here, my initial concerns about her behavior were justified. My vague unease will become something far more concrete, far harder to face. Given any choice in the matter, I don't want that to happen. No, I can't afford to worry about that right now. Forcibly persuading myself to refocus on the problem at hand, I finally enter the park. Once inside that dim, desolate playground, my eyes quickly find a small figure illuminated by the moonlight. Sachi.
Kazami-san.
Are you okay? Shit, it's been a long time. This swing set's a tiny thing, made for the use of young children. Crammed into the undersized wooden seat, indifferent to her rain-soaked clothes, Sachi looks up at me and smiles. Have you been waiting since yesterday? Without even eating in the rain. All this time. Goddamn idiot! It's too much for me to endure. She's just too pitiful right now. Before I know it, I'm shouting down at her.
どうしてでしょう。私、いきなり怒られてしまいました。
Of course I am angry. Why? Didn't you realize I was not coming? Didn't you realize something was off? Why didn't you just leave? Why the hell did you sit here all this time just to keep some worthless promise?
それは、ゆうくんとの待ち合わせだからだよ。
Intimate tone. Completely unlike the formal style of speech Sachi usually employs. That vaguely embarrassing nickname. The combination resonates nostalgically, with the memories rendered fuzzy and indistinct by the passage of time.
ゆうくん、こっちこっち。次はあれで遊ぼう。ありがとう、ゆうくん。
Sachi's words. The connections I'm drawing have to be real. Why would you pick up other people's trash?
だって次にこの場所で遊んだ時綺麗だった方が嬉しいでしょ
So my guess was correct after all. You and I didn't meet for the first time in the Miyama dormitory.
はい風見さんとは以前ここで遊んでいたことがあります
How is that even possible? What are the chances? Sachi confirms my words casually, and if it was the most obvious, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. Of course, her mere presence in this place is proof enough. Sachi, how long have you known?
最初にそうかもしれないと思ったのは転入してきた風見さんからお名前を聞いた時です
Fucking hell.
それからいろいろお話ししていくうちにだんだんそうじゃないかなと思い始めていたのですが最終的にゆうくんだと気づいたのは風見さんが初めて私の頭を撫でてくれた時です
So this never would have happened if I didn't pat your... Okay. That was enough to convince you.
だって風見さんの手は私が大好きだったゆうくんと同じ温かさをしていましたから
What happened to you? Even Yuuji was saying you had a very different personality back then. In other words, Sachi realized it some time ago and kept quiet. Until now. Then why didn't you say anything?
どうしてですか
I'm asking, why didn't you tell me about all this? If I'd known, I might have remembered this place much more quickly, right?
すみません風見さんが別の場所で待っているという考えは全くありませんでした
It didn't occur to you.
はい
My goodness. What are we gonna do with you?
幼い頃の私と風見さんが待ち合わせていたのはいつもこの公園で
But we've met up several times.
逆を言えばここ以外の場所で遊んだことはありません
We met up multiple times for the classroom studying thing.
ですから風見さんからいつもの場所と言われれば私にはこの場所しか思い浮かびませんでしたから
Are you serious?
はい
So many things happened so fast back then. These details are so fuzzy for me, but... Sachi's memories of the time we spent together doesn't seem to have faded. This playground is clearly a very important place to her. But even so...
それに家と言われませんでしたから
But why would you assume I mean this place if you didn't even think I knew? I see. Come to think of it, Sachi's always been like this. Silently carrying out orders like a faithful robot. Never expressing doubt or interjecting her own opinion. Never advancing her own interest. The rare exceptions come only when Sachi judges it strictly necessary. Even then, she's usually just seeking clarification. There's no longer any doubt in my mind. Those rules have to be the very reason Sachi ended up in Mihama Academy. In other words, it's all exactly as I feared.
風見さんはどうしてそんなに悲しそうな顔をしているんですか
Because for fuck's sake, you have a problem. A very dangerous problem. Because I am sad, idiot. What aren't you?
そうですね私は嬉しいです
Happy?
はい待ち合わせ時間を考えたら遅刻かもしれませんがゆうくんはこうして来てくれましただから私はとても嬉しいです
Sachi smiles up at me. I finally realized something. The one thing about this girl that truly resembles me is the way she smiles. An artificial thing, plastered on for the sake of lubricating social interactions. An attempt to put others at ease rather than a reflection of any real emotion. Maybe she's not lying. Maybe she really is happy, but Whatever the case, that smile is hollow. How many times have I seen this expression on her face? And I'm only realizing it now? Pathetic. No, maybe it's not surprising I didn't notice. I've managed to fool plenty of people the exact same way. It's a skill that develops with practice.
そんな顔しないでください、風見さん。風見さんはちゃんと約束を守ってくれました。だから今度は私がこうする番です。
Rising unsteadily to her feet, Sachi reaches up and brings her hand to rest on top of my head.
約束守ってくれてありがとう、ゆうくん。
Maybe it's sheer surprise. Maybe some part of me wants things to stay like this a little longer. I can't tell for sure. Whatever the case, my body's frozen in place under the gentle movements of that small hand. Sachi, what are you?
勝手なことをしてすみません。でも私が最後にいつもの場所で遊ぶ約束をしたとき、ゆうくんはこの公園に来てくれませんでした。
I didn't?
はい。でもゆうくんは悪くありません。あの時の私は悪い子で、私が一方的に取り付けた約束でしたから。
What happened to you? Oh God, don't. If my situation somehow goes back to being the primary cause of her issues, oh God, that would make me feel horrible.
ゆうくんが来てくれなかったのも当然です。でも今回は違います。ちゃんと約束をしたから、そこにゆうくんが来てくれて、私本当に嬉しい。
Sachi? I catch Sachi in my arms as she collapses forward, last of her strength gone.
すみません、風見さん。今、体を。
No, nothing to apologize for. Don't push yourself.
そう言っていただけると助かります。なぜか立ち上がろうとしても体に力が入らなくて。
Oh, hardly surprising after sitting through that rainstorm without eating or drinking. After a quick estimate, Sachi's been in this place 28 hours straight. And I'm willing to bet that she didn't even allow herself to take a nap the whole time she was waiting for me. For how sturdy this girl is, she must be well past the limits of her physical endurance by now.
ですが、私はこれから風見さんとのテストの
Oh, you'd fail that.
約束が。
You don't need to worry about that either. The only thing you promised me is to wait until I showed up. And you kept that promise. You can rest now.
それならよかったです。
Those words and a particularly weak attempt at a smile, Sachi instantly falls unconscious. Within seconds, she's gone totally limp, leaving me to bear her full weight in my arms. It's only then that I finally realized just how alarmingly cold her body is. She was clearly in bad shape, to the point that she needs medical attention and quickly. Is there a hospital around here? Even so, the expression... We're hours away. Even so, the expression on her face as she sleeps seems genuinely happy. In a way that artificial smile never was. I may be a pretty pitiful excuse for a human being, but maybe, just maybe, there's something I can do for this girl. You're a hell of a lot tougher than you look, Sachi. After brushing a few drops of rainwater off Sachi's face, I pull up my phone to call Chizuru.
もう一緒に遊べないの？私そんなのやだよ。せっかく仲良くなれて、これからもっともっとゆうくんと遊べると思ったのに、それなのに突然お別れしなきゃいけないなんて。私明日も待ってるから、ゆうくんが来てくれるまで絶対いつもの場所で待ってるから。
Oh boy. I assume I got her the medical attention she needed. Even after hearing Sachi's story, this is about as much as I can remember. As children, we parted abruptly. Our burgeoning friendship was cut off without warning. That must have happened when I was forced to move away after my sister's death. That much makes sense. There's still one part of all this I find completely inexplicable. I understand that Sachi has to be the same person who played with me as a child. But the girl in my memories was energetic and strong-willed to the extreme. A little spoiled, even. Her personality and way of speaking were totally unlike the Sachi I know today. Of course, people naturally change as they grow up, but I don't know of many transformations that dramatic. Something must have triggered such a radical shift. And I guess that's something's connected to our conversation back then, but there's no way to know for sure until I learn more about Sachi's past. What happened over the last 2 days, I think that's become necessary.
屋上で星を眺めるなんて意外にロマンチストなところがあったのね。
What, you want to join me? Ah, Chizuru.
私は学園長室で待っててって言ったはずだけど。
Sorry, felt like getting some air.
そう。
Dropping the line of questioning, Chizuru walks up and stands at my side.
各種への連絡と病院での手続きは一通り済ませてきたわ。
Appreciate it. Sorry to push the work all onto you.
それは私のセリフよ。学生の管理は私の仕事だし、小峰さんだってあなたが見つけてくれたんだから。
In a sense, it's all my fault, so really don't worry about it. True enough.
それより、あなたは小峰さんのそばにいてあげなくてもいいの？
Should I? Should I really? She's got 4 dedicated nurses at the moment. I think she'll be alright.
それはそうだけど。でも、
Women don't like having men ogle them as they sleep, right?
まったく。こういう時に冗談が言えるのはあなたくらいのものだと思うわよ。
Oh, it was a joke. Good of me to know that. Like my sister. I inherited it from her, but anyway,
他にやることができた。
Right. Remember what you told me a little while ago? How you don't expect me to do anything particular for the school or students?
ええ、確かにそう言ったわ。
I've got a follow-up question.
何かしら。
Are you willing to let me get involved on a voluntary basis?
ええ、もちろん。
Good to know. Sounds almost like she was expecting this from the very start. Guess there's a reason she's able to get by sitting around sipping expensive tea all day long.
でもいいの？これは市ヶ谷の任務でもないし、あなたにとって何の得にもならないことかもしれないわよ。
No, but I didn't come to the school for duty or profit. You might say I'm here precisely because I want something more than that. Right. I want to understand the meaning of the words my master left me.
なるほどね。
Also, in a way, I owe Sachi my life.
小峰さんが命の恩人？
Sachi and I knew each other as kids. And it's probably thanks to her that I managed to push my way through the worst of it.
驚いた。そんなことがあったなんて私も知らなかったわ。
Not surprising. I just remembered a little while ago myself.
そう。
Lowering your hand from the fence, Jizuru turns to face me.
でもそういう理由があったなら小峰さんだったのは納得ね。
Circumstances aside, simple truth is, Sachi caught my interest as she is today.
惹かれたか。それなら今度こそ小峰さんについての報告書を渡しましょうか。
Like I said before, that will not be necessary.
じゃあ断ることができない小峰さんから聞き出す？
It's true, I could just ask her. It would probably be just the same. That's not it either.
だったら
I'll handle this my own way. In this case, maybe it's a pointlessly roundabout method, but I've gotten by with it all this time. So I'm going to stick with what I know. You know, sniping her.
なるほど。不器用だけどまっすぐであなたらしい考えね。
Oh, you're calling me clumsy? Is that supposed to be a compliment?
さあどうかしらね。
Oh boy. Blatantly evading the question, Zero offers me a composed smile. Alright, I think it's about time I got going.
か必要になったら遠慮なく言ってくれていいから。
I'm counting on it, Principal Tachibana. Well then, time for a very short break. I'm gonna get more water. I need water. Okay, back. Well then, what do we do now? Stepping outside the school grounds, I retrieve my cell phone from. Okay, so I'm gonna go to JB and them and do stuff. Okay, I was wondering if it was gonna be that or if it was gonna be the sort of way I've been doing it about in the school. What he meant by his way. Even if it does ultimately come down to asking for someone's help, I'll stick to the methods I trust most. If I want to change something, to accomplish something meaningful, I think that has to be the way it has to be. Julia, I need a favor.
案外気持ちよさそうに寝てるわね。まったくあれだけ心配させておいてのんきなもんよ。
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's just dwelling on that constantly in her sleep.
と見せかけてずっとこのままなんてオチは嫌なのよ。
Oh, thanks for saying it first, Machina. Good girl.
あんたはさらっとなんてこと言うのよ。それだけサッチンが心配なのよさ。
心配しなくても平気よ。看護師さんから話を聞いた限りでは疲れて眠っているだけらしいから。
それならよかったのよさ。でもユージ、よくさっちゃんを見つけられたわよね。そういえばそうよね。愛の力すげえな。
やっぱりそうなのかしら。
一番意外なところが食いついてきやがった。
大はないわ。ただ最近仲良くしていたみたいだし、本当にそういう力が働いたのかと思っただけよ。
Oh.
やめてユミコ、キャラかぶってる上にうまいから。
You're saying she might be a better Cinderella than you? Oh, shocking all.
うまいってか、多分榊さんのは天然だからね。私は諦めないわよ。うなぎだって天然物より美味しい養殖物だってあるんだから。
I get the comparison, but god damn.
チルチル静かにしろよ。サッチンが起きちゃうのよさ。あんたがおったくせに。
それより本来の面会時間はとっくに過ぎているんだし、そろそろ戻った方がいいわ。
そうね、着替えとかいろいろ用意しなくちゃいけないものもあるし。っていうかユージのバカはどこで何やってるのよ。
Better things than you.
俺はやることがあるってすぐどっかに行っちゃったからね。
きっとその場に居合わせた人だからこそ分かったことがあるんでしょうね。
こんな時までカッコつけなくてもいいのに。でもそこが好きなんだよな。
Oh. Oh, Machina, you're being much better. You're doing a good job.
ほらほら、本当にさっちゃん起きちゃうからそろそろおいとまするわよ。わかってるわよ。じゃあさっちん、すぐに戻ってくるからそれまでいい子にしてるのよ。
Okay. JB actually going to do it? Does she feel an obligation to do? I mean, she's up before. Mere moments after I picked up the sound of a well-tuned V8 engine approaching, a familiar yellow prancing horse pulls smoothly to a halt in front of my eyes.
お待たせ、ユージ。
Not like we have contradicting goals here, so we should be in the clear. And a split second later, the person I've been expecting emerges from the driver's seat.
もうこんな時間の呼び出しに海外式答えるのは私ぐらいのものよ。
Well, that's just because you have this weird thing for me. Yeah, I do, and I appreciate it. When I offer a few straightforward words of thanks, JB furrows her brow. Something wrong?
皮肉を言ったつもりが真面目に返されちゃって何も言えなくなっただけよ。
Mm-hmm. How about we get to work? My bad.
別に怒っているわけじゃないけど、この子が前に言ってたストレスを感じない子なんでしょ。
Claims to. As JB speaks, she holds out a single manila envelope.
しかもそれ一応部外費の資料なのよ。
Isn't it all? Right? That's why I had to ask you, Julia.
まあ頼まれて持ってくる私も私だけど。
Thanks, I owe you for this one.
なんだかユージが素直だと調子が狂うわ。
JB shrugs his shoulders as I take the documents from her hand. It's not that I don't trust Zero, but I prefer to get my information from a familiar, reliable source.
それから分かっているとは思うけど、その資料には先に目を通させてもらったわよ。
Interesting. Yeah, not a problem.
この学園の子たちがそれぞれに問題を抱えているのは知っていたけど、その子もいろいろあったみたいね。
I see. I was more or less expecting JB to read the documents before handing them over, but judging from her vague language, it seems there was indeed something fairly dramatic inside.
これは純粋にあなたを知る友人として聞くけど、その子が抱える問題を知ってどうするつもりなの？
Well, I think the main thing is that she has a very serious problem that could make it very dangerous, very vulnerable, even as we've seen with people who truly do not want her any harm. Don't know yet, but
でも
there's something I can do for her after reading these. I think I will. JB answers my words with a searching gaze, her expression unusually serious. I stare steadily back into her eyes for a moment. There's a silence between us.
そう。あなたがそう考えているなら、私は何も言わないわ。
You're not opposed to the idea?
私にあなたのプライベートまで奪う権利はないし、そこまで言うからには、それなりの理由があるんでしょ？
In other words, you trust me.
そうね。これでもあなたのことはよく知ってるつもりよ。
Right, and I would never go against you just for the sake of some girl that I might have gotten the hots for at the school, right? I'd never be on the opposing side of you. Thank you for your trust.
何せ私はあなたの友人であり、上司であり、保護者なんだから。
What, no love interest? Aww. True enough. With my master and my older sister dead, JP is without a doubt the foremost living authority on the subject of me.
ただ、一つだけ釘を刺させてもらうけど、あなたがこれから何をするにしても、仕事は今まで通りこなしてもらうわよ。
Yeah, of course, that was the plan.
その言葉が聞けて安心したわ。今は予備役扱いとはいえ、あなたを頼りにしている人間はたくさんいるんだから。
Apparently satisfied, JP gives me a friendly thump on the shoulder as she passes by.
それじゃあ、私はそろそろ戻るわね。
Right, I appreciate the help, JB.
感謝の気持ちを表すなら、今度高級イタリアンでもご馳走してちょうだい。
Returning to her usual playful tone, JB definitely brushes a loose strand of her thick golden hair into place and then steps back into her car. Yeah, I'll make a note. As the prancing horse grows small in the distance, I mutter wryly to myself. After returning to the court, I've seen that expression used so many times, smiling wryly to oneself. I don't even know what that fucking means, man. Here, internet, tell me, what does smiling wryly to yourself actually look like? Images. Oh. Okay, so sort of smug. Okay. Just like a little bit of smugness. Most of these don't even look like people are smiling, though. A lot of anime stuff jumped up, though. I see Persona. I think this is Little Busters. I watched the anime of that. Good anime. A lot of the, whatever the company that makes all these, like Little Busters and them. Key, I think, yeah. I've watched most of the animes for stuff they've made. Which probably means doing them for visual novels probably won't be that, except for the ones I haven't done, which probably is the more recently made ones. Would probably not be that much of an option. Okay. Well, whatever. Curiosity. After returning to the courtyard, I sit down in a nearby bench and examine the contents of the envelope JB handed me. At a glance, it's 6 pages filled with text, almost certainly printed from a personal computer. So, now I've got my hands on Sachi's past. What's more, I managed to obtain it quietly, from a source with absolutely no connection to these events. For JB, it was probably a simple job involving nothing more than challenging than a few minutes of database crawling on a neglected terminal. But this way, if and how I make use of this information is completely up to me. Okay. I want to know. I want to know what happened to her. She seems so fucked up for someone. When I open my eyes, I'm staring at an unfamiliar ceiling. I am now Sachi. Hey guys, I'm now Sachi. I have voluptuous breasts. They're in the way. They're heavy. They hurt my back. Why would anyone want these? The lights are off and there's only faint illumination flowing in from the window. But as my eyes grow accustomed to the darkness, it doesn't take me long to realize I'm in a hospital.
そっか。私、公園で気を失って。
Kazami-san must have carried me here afterwards. And judging from the tuna fish man figurine standing watch at my bedside, Maki-chan and the others paid me a visit.
風見さんは、ゆうくん。
Kazami-san and I played together as children. For a time, he was a very dear friend to me. I realized as much some time ago, but I don't believe that knowledge prompted any dramatic change inside me. Therefore, I had assumed that the same was for Kazami-san, that he had realized the truth long ago and simply decided to keep things as they were. But in reality, he never associated me with the girl he knew back then. To him, the usual place was somewhere else entirely. The thought made my heart ache. For some reason, when I close my eyes, I see Kazami-san's sorrowful face looking down at me at the playground. And as I remember that moment, the vice gripping my chest grows gradually tighter.
おかしいな。私、もう悪い子じゃないはずなのに。
Oh. I mean, it's not hard to take a guess at what happened. The fact that she calls herself, that she used to be a bad girl or some shit like that, I mean...
みんなの言うことを聞く。いい子でいれば、ここが痛くなることもないって思ってたの。
The more I think, the more sluggish I feel. It's as though a heavy weight is pressing down on my body. Thank goodness I'm alone. If someone else had been here, I'm not sure I could have been my normal self for them. After all, I'm currently incapable of something as simple as reaching over to turn on the lights. Soon enough, my physical discomfort is accompanied by a building sense of panic inexpressible in words. A horrible choking sensation crawls slowly but steadily up my throat. Oh, okay. As I moan incoherently, my hands reflexively clutch the blanket draped over my body. I squeeze my eyes tightly closed in an attempt to shut out reality. It's no good. The harder I try to repress the memory, the more clearly it rises to the surface. I know that it's the cause of my pain, but I simply cannot escape the image. Perhaps it's because I'm weaker than usual after my long wait in the rain. Even as I wince at the first throbbing stabs of a sudden headache, an overwhelming weariness washes over my body. Just keeping my eyes open seems unbearably burdensome. My field of vision grows narrow as my eyelids fall halfway closed. I can faintly hear the sound of my clenched teeth rattling in my mouth. It feels as if the temperature of the room has plunged to the point where I can almost expect my breath to form white clouds before my eyes. Oh, I roughly grasp for air, panting like a dog, helplessly enduring the unceasing waves of pain. Eventually, it becomes difficult to tell whether my eyes are open or shut as my physical agony reaches its climax. It's joined by an unfathomably profound sense of loss. My trembling hands creep upward, seeking reassurance that my head hasn't simply been lopped off at the neck. It's alright, that can't possibly have happened. I understand that rationally, but the illusion is so vivid that I can't bring myself to lower my hands. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. As a child, when I first suffered these symptoms, the doctor who examined me dispassionately offered that diagnosis. A severe mental illness brought on by violent wounds to the mind, leading to a persistent range of stress-related impediments. I've researched the disorder and its symptoms in great details over the years from every source I could find. Among the many symptoms, the one I truly fear is clinically referred to as recurrent involuntary memory, or commonly referred to as the flashback. If I can curl my body into a tight ball like this, I can endure the pain and exhaustion somehow. But the worst of the suffering is yet to come. As I begin to imagine that moment, tears flood out of my eyes as I shake my head from side to side like a spoiled child throwing a temper tantrum. Lukewarm drool dribbles out of my gaping mouth as I'm racked by dry heaves. At some point, my groan gives way to convulsive sobs. Oh. This is how it always happens. After enduring the pain, I see the dream. The memories I tried so very hard to forget forced their way into my mind, so vivid and clear after all this time. Profound darkness, buried deep inside my own conscious efforts, pushes its way back to the surface. How many times have I seen this dream since that day? The mere idea of trying to count seems rather ridiculous by now. I've never escaped this nightmare, will I? Never. It'll be with me for all eternity. And the nightmare begins, as always, with 2 words.
Sachi.
Ho. 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 Oh, I don't know exactly. I probably won't cut out too much, but this seems like the perfect place to end it. I gotta be honest. So I'm going to end it there. I might be doing something with this after the Mother Love stuff ends. I am undecided on exactly how I'm going to handle that, but that's still a little bit off, so I guess we'll see. So, yeah, Sachi, just her whole situation, so, like, god damn, I mean, it's definitely tragic. There's a tragic aspect to it. And you can sort of, like, in the back of your mind, it's like, it feels like it's exactly what you think it is, but, like, sort of like what Yuuji was saying before, it's like, I really hope it's not. I really hope it's not. I hope it's not something that bad, that is that broken, and it's just, yeah, it's probably going to be exactly what you think it is at this point. That's what it seems like. And I've been talking about my thoughts on the potential abuse and whatnot for a while now, and yeah. I'll see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone. Hello, and welcome back. Very briefly, I'm going to record a little bit more to finish up the episode at a decent length, just because it ended up that way last time. Sachi, oh, that's it. You're talking, right? Huh, that does sound like a bit of a different voice. Maybe I'm just used to Sachi sounding very calm. Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember, like, because I'm remembering I guess I'm more specifically remembering the flashbacks for Mitru, and I don't remember, like, her parents getting their own portraits. I don't remember anything like that. Okay. The workshop is constantly filled with the clamor of industrial machines. Ooh, if something happens to her parents, I'm sort of guessing where things might go wrong. But when I shouted out a greeting, my parents never failed to put down their work and answer. My gentle mother, who always smelled like freshly dried laundry, and my smiling father, whose face was constantly smeared with grease and oil. I love them both very much. My earliest memories from the days before I entered the elementary school are all wonderfully happy. My dad was a metal worker and an engineer from Niigata, and my mom was born into a family that operated a small precision manufacturing workshop in Kanagawa. About 20 years ago, they met at a technology fair and fell in love. Soon enough, they started a little factory of their own on the outskirts of the small city. I was born shortly thereafter, completing an intimate little family of 3. Interesting. Oh my. Neither of you have pink hair either. I can definitely see the resemblance to the mother, though. Yeah, I mean, yes, but Sachi not stopping crying versus the potential livelihood of your daughter later on? We'll see. I mean, it depends why someone's crying, but, you know, she has a fever, let's get to the hospital right away. No, I completely understand, and it's very admirable, but at the same time, You are two people? I guess that's just the first thought that comes to mind. It's a very complicated situation and very emotionally driven. At the very least, the orders placed at the freshly established workshop tended to be small in scale, and its track record couldn't have been called excellent even as polite flattery. Well, I'm guessing that was a problem in the first place, so let's not worry about it this time. The primary cause? My parents prioritized their newborn child above all else, frequently missing important deadlines for my sake. But despite their inconsistent job performance, their character won respect and affection. Our young family was able to get by thanks to the support of others.
ねえねえお母さん、お買い物一緒に行こう。
そうね。そろそろお夕飯の準備もしないといけないんだけど。
ああ、仕事の方は心配しないでいいから、二人。
すみません。
いいさ。どうせもうすぐ片付くしね。
じゃあお父さんの好きなおビールも買ってくる。
Oh, God. How old is Sachi at the moment?
ありがとう、サチ。
Oh boy. Even once I got a little bit bigger, I still spent lots of time with my parents. Especially in the evenings, I'd always pull up my mom's hand and beg her to go shopping with me.
サチは今日何が食べたい？
卵ふりかけ。
That's a thing?
ふりかけじゃなくて、ハンバーグとかすき焼きとか、もっと好きなものを言っていいのよ。
じゃあね、サメさん。
Okay, wait, do they actually...
サメさんはちょっと。
Okay. I didn't know shark was something they actually sold. Why do I get a feeling that that might, you know...
サメさん食べられない？
I don't know.
そうね。サチはサメが好きなのは知ってるけど、できれば別のものにしてほしいかな。
Something nice and cheap.
それならサチ、タコさんウインナーがいい。
Is that also expensive?
ごめんね、サチ。
Why ask her what she wants if you're gonna be so limiting anyways?
どうしてお母さんがサチ、お母さんが作ってくれる目玉焼きとタコさんが一番大好きだよ。
ありがとう。私もサチのことが大好きよ。
あらさっちゃん、今日もお母さんと一緒でいいわね。
Thinking back on it now, our household was definitely on the poor side. You could count on one hand the number of times per year a real treat of a Mio Grey Star dinner table. Mom's cooking was always delicious anyways, and more importantly, I loved the feeling of her soft warm hand wrapping around mine. Fortunately, the adults around us watched over our family with warm gazes and small acts of kindness. Oh boy. I mean, that's nice, that's sweet. Is that sustainable? Maybe I'm very much more utilitarian when it comes to just pure standard of living, I guess.
いつもすみません。
いやいや、うちも駅向こうにできたスーパーのせいで大変なんだが、小峰さんには変わらずひいきにしてもらってるからね。
ありがとうございます。
おじさん、いつもおまけしてくれてありがとう。
お、その年でちゃんとお礼が言えれた。偉いね、さっちゃんは。よーし、それならおじさん、唐揚げ用のお肉もサービスしちゃおう。
Oh, okay.
本当にすみません。
こりゃ後でかみさんに怒られちまうかもな。
Yeah, I could imagine. I already sort of want to give you an earful myself. Oh boy.
あなた、今日も一日お疲れ様です。
あ、お前もお疲れ様。
お疲れ様。
Surrounded by Mom's cooking, we thanked each other for our daily labors as Dad tilted his beer glass. Alcohol's not cheap, I'm gonna note that. Beer's probably not that bad, though. I haven't really... Yeah. When the dishes in front of us were about halfway gone and the glass sat empty in front of him, Dad would always sit back in his chair and start to tell me his story.
なあサチ、 サチはエッチングって知ってるかい？
Like, from a mechanical sort of blacksmith sort of way thing?
聞いたことない。
あなた、サチはまだ5歳ですよ。今からそんなことを知っている方がおかしいわ。
そうかな。俺がサチくらいの頃には親父の仕事場に潜り込んでは勝手に機械をいじってたもんだったわ。
だってサチ、工場の機械を触ってるよりもお人形さんと遊んでる方が楽しいもん。
Oh, Sachi, you're going down a dark path. You're not playing with the machines, the dangerous machines?
やっぱりそうか。サチは女の子だもんな。
サチは大きくなったらお母さんみたいなお母さんになるの。
サチ。
おお、サチは嬉しいこと言ってくれるな。じゃあおもちゃのお人形さんを作っていたお父さんの親戚の家の話をしてあげよ
お人形さんの話だったらサチ聞きたい。
Dad's stories were almost always connected to his job somehow. Even so, it was fun to hear about new things. And I was in awe of him for knowing all that super complicated stuff. But what always impressed me more than anything else was his amazing handiness.
お父さん、この時計電池を変えても動かないの。
Is it a mechanical failure? Or did you put in the battery wrong?
う。ああ、どれどれ。通電してないみたいだな。
Makes sense.
配線のハンダ付けがいい加減だったんだろう。
Do most clocks have their circuit boards that, exposed? Maybe they're just... whatever.
また動くようになる？
あ、これくらいならすぐに治るぞ。
Oh yeah, soldering's simple if you, have the equipment. And, you know, are good enough at it to not hurt yourself.
お父さんすごい。
Not a high line to be at, but yeah.
壊れた時計くらいならお母さんの機嫌を直すより簡単さ。
Oh, ouch. Don't, man, don't. She's probably listening. Dad loved playing with the machines from a very young age, so he could prepare almost anything. Because of that, the things that we bought tend to last much longer than they would normally. I always thought of him as some kind of wizard.
ねえねえ、お父さん、それ何？
ああ、これはオルゴールって言うんだ。
Oh, I really like music boxes.
オルゴール？
Such a nostalgic feeling to them.
この箱を開けるとね、音が鳴るような仕掛けになっているの。
へえ、そうなんだ。
サチはオルゴールを見るの初めてだったかしら？
それにね、なんだかすごく素敵な音がした。
あら、サチは素敵なんて言葉よく知っていたわね。
昨日見たテレビで言ってたの。
Best place to be learning from. Best place to be learning from.
なるほど。それでサチはこの曲のことを素敵だなって。
とっても綺麗な音だった。
そう。サチがそう言ってくれるとお母さん嬉しいわ。
どうして？
このオルゴールに入っている曲はね、お父さんとお母さんの結婚式で流した思い出の曲なんだ。
結婚式？
I didn't get a good listen to. Was there a little bit of the song at the beginning? I know there's a little bit of a music box sound at the
そ
beginning.
うね。好きな人と幸せになるためにする約束みたいなもののことよ。
幸せ。
幸せっていう字はね、サチの名前と同じ字を書くの。
そうなの？
そう。だからサチも大きくなったら好きな人と結婚して、きっと幸せになれるわよ。
そっか。じゃあサチも大きくなったらお父さんとお母さんと結婚する。
kids. Yeah.
お母さん、うちにボイスレコーダーはあったかな？
Don't you... This is not legally binding.
もう、何言ってるんですか、あなたは。
Oh my
お父
goodness.
さんはサチと結婚したら嬉しい？
ああ、嬉しすぎてサチのことがもっともっと好きになっちゃうな。
Oh my. Oh
で
my.
も好きな人と結婚するためにはサチがもっと大きくならなくっちゃね。
サチもっと大きくなれるようにたくさん牛乳
This Sachi really is a lot different than the one I know. What happened? From that day forth, the sound of the music box became a familiar part of my life. A gentle melody that accompanied our family gatherings felt almost like a symbol of happiness itself. I'd always understood that Dad loved me just as much as Mom, although he's often busy with work. And since I happen to love him very much myself, I had a habit of begging him to play with me on the weekends.
ねえねえ、お父さん、お外に遊びに行こう。
おお、サチはいつも元気だな。
日曜日はね、お外でお父さんと遊ぶ日って決めてるの。
そうか。
I'd like to see that rule book.
だからお父さんも一緒に遊ばないとダメなんだよ。
Sachi just making up rules.
そうだな。じゃあ今日はお父さんと公園でキャッチボールをしようか。
キャッチボール？
Catchy ball.
よーし、いいぞ。そしたらここにめがけてそのボールを投げるんだ。
Ah, it's the park. Okay. You know, Sachi started playing with, Yuuji a bunch, right? When they were little. And she seemed basically attached to the hip to her parents. I wonder if there's a point where they weren't able to play with her very much, or he wasn't able to play with her very much anymore.
ボールを投げる。
おお、うまいじゃないかサチ。初めてでここまでできるなんてすごいぞ。本当？ああ、お父さんは運動ダメだったけど、そういうところはお母さんに似てくれてよかったよ。
Oh my. What's she good at? She an athlete when she's younger? I think Dad probably wanted a boy. Not that he ever came out and admitted it, of course. But when he watched me tossing a baseball around or playing soccer, his eyes were livelier than usual. Once I caught on, I started begging him to play with me even on weekdays, eager to see that happy expression on his face. But of course, Dad had his work to take care of, so he couldn't tag along every time. As a result, I sometimes had too much time on my hands. One particularly dull afternoon, I decided on a total whim to imitate Mom and clean the floor of the workshop. And when I did...
あらサチ、ほうきなんか持って何してるの？
お掃除だよ。
Yeah, that means she's probably going to be able to kill us all the dangerous equipment, right?
偉いじゃない、サチ。
Why am I more of a worried parent than you, mother?
進んでお手伝いをしてくれるなんて、お母さんとっても嬉しいわ。
I mean, that's a good thing in its own, but maybe I'd make a horrible father. I'd probably be worried out of my mind constantly. Or alternatively, I might be worried like nothing out of my mind. Like, not at all. I don't know.
ねえ、聞いてあなた。サチが工場を掃除してくれていたのよ。
何？本当か？
ええ。あなたもこっちに来て、サチのことを褒めてあげてください。
Child labor, let's praise her because it'll get her to want to do the child labor. Oh, no, not really. That would be sort of funny, though, if it turned into that. As my parents showered me in compliments, almost like the time I brought home the first prize for a picture I'd drawn in kindergarten, I blushed with joy. Their initial reaction was surprising enough, but after work that day, both Dad and Mom came outside to play with me.
お母さん、こっちこっち。
あら、サチもいつの間にかそんなに速く走れるようになっていたのね。
それより二人とも少しは手加減してくれ。こっちの体力が持たないよ。
Pitiful.
今日は
Pitiful.
お母さんと一緒にお父さんをやっつけるんだもん。
Gladly, let's do this.
そうね、そうしましょうか。
おいおい、勘弁してくれよ。
We laughed and played until evening came. For one day, the machine sat silent in the workshop. In exchange, our house was filled with the resounding melody of the music box. And from that shining moment, I was left with a powerful new conviction. It makes Mommy and Daddy happy when I clean up. If I do it again, they'll play with me more. Motivated by that simple thought, I began to clean the workshop in our house whenever I had the time.
ほらお父さんお母さん、お仕事はもう終わったんだから一緒に遊ぼう。
わかったわかった。もうすぐ片付くから、せめて着替える時間くらいは待ってくれよ、サチ。
ダメだよ、早くしないと砂場が他の人に占領されちゃうんだから。
Sachi with her priorities. Got him goddamn straight.
サチったら
And sure enough, whenever I cleaned up for them, my parents would emerge from the workshop with resigned smiles on their faces. After witnessing the same scene play out countless times, I'm sure the neighbors had me down as a slightly spoiled little tomboy. Ah, right. That is what Yuuji said. Not that I noticed at the time. So, caught up in every precious moment. Back then, my world consisted of nothing but the things before my eyes, the places my short legs could carry me. And it was more than enough. But eventually, my way of thinking did undergo a clear change. That day, a little while into my first year of elementary school, I proudly brought home my first perfect test.
すごい。本当に100点だわ。
She's smart.
ちょっとあなた、ちゃんと聞いてます？
ああ、すまない。あまりの驚きで思わず呼吸が止まってしまっていたよ。
Why do I feel like that's foreshadowing? Oh, these two are obviously gonna die at some point, right?
いくらなんでもそれは驚きすぎですよ。
そうだよ、お父さん。
いやいや、決してそんなことはないぞ。お父さんも何度か100点は取ったことがあるが、算数のテストで取ったことはなかった。
Ha 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 ha. That's why you're just an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer. Fuck.
サチは運動神経がいいだけじゃなくて頭もいいんだな。
Yeah, seems like a very skilled person, even at a young age.
そうね。今日はサチが初めて100点を取ったお祝いに腕によりをかけてごちそうを作らないと。
本当？やったー！
At that time, I was a very simple person. Being praised makes me happy. It hasn't changed immensely, but that's still a big part of her personality, isn't it? When I do well in tests, Mom and Dad are really nice. And the food at dinner gets better too. In that case, I'm gonna get good scores every time. Having reached that conclusion, I shifted my efforts to my studies. I always listened carefully in school, and at home I'd voluntarily head off to my desk and pore over my books.
今度は社会科のテストで100点か。
クラスで100点を取れたのは私だけだって先生も褒めてくれたよ。
最近はうちでも勉強を頑張っているみたいだし、学期末にもらえる通知表が楽しみね。
The harder I tried, the more my parents complimented me. The more effort I put in, the wider the smiles on their faces were. That's all there was to it. As simple as I was, that was more than enough to motivate me. As I focused on the clear objective, my grades soared with astonishing swiftness. Okay, I think that's...
はい。今日はサチが全部4以上の通知表をもらってきたお祝いよ。
The game's calling that a cutting off point, so I'm gonna call that a cutting off point too. Yeah. Going to keep at this one until I finish it. It's... You know, it's in that happy, like, oh, everything's happy time where, you know, things are gonna go terribly wrong way too soon for anyone to be happy. Yeah, who needs happiness? Drive safely, everyone.